Good evening from Beijing. Recently, I've read that three British women, were trapped while trekking in Nepal's Himalayan region. In this video, we will look at whether or not it's a good idea to go trekking in Nepal Himalayan region. I will give a balanced approach, a balanced debate, five arguments for and five arguments against trekking in Nepal's Himalayan region. And here I will exclude the Everest. So we're talking Annapurna, Mustang, Manaslu, and other non-Everest destinations. Hi, this is Voiko Michnia. I live in Beijing. I've traveled to Nepal. I've been in the region and I love the mountains. But the question is it a good idea to go trekking in these extreme environments if bad weather can get you stuck in for days in a tent with no food and provisions, and it's so costly to rescue you? So let's have a look at a debate. I will start with five arguments for trekking in Nepal's Himalayan regions, and then obviously we'll continue with five arguments against. So the first pro argument, there's no doubt about it, the nature is breathtaking. There's a breathtaking natural beauty in this area, and many of the non-Everest regions offer stunning scenery. Just imagine snow-capped peaks, alpine forests, waterfalls, terraced valleys, very, very few people. Second pro argument, cultural immersion. You could potentially immerse yourself in the true culture of the regions because trekkers can experience authentic local life among the local communities who are most likely to be your guides or your porters. Imagine staying in a traditional tea house and learning about Buddhism and Hindu traditions and all the local flavors. Pro tip number 3, these routes are less commercialized. So regions like the non-Everest regions, not the base camps, provide a more peaceful, less touristy atmosphere. Pro argument number 4, there are physical and mental benefits to trekking. Long distance trekking builds endurance, improves cardiovascular health, and obviously promotes mindfulness and stress relief in an amazing area. So it has very, very important mental and physical benefits. And pro argument number 5, it supports the local economies because trekking brings income to rural mountain villages, and thus it helps sustain local businesses, and the money goes into the schools and the community project, and sometimes the local communities only can make an income during the trekking season and not outside of the trekking seasons. So here are your 5 arguments why you should trek in Nepal's Himalayan region. Now, let's look at 5 arguments against trekking in Nepal's Himalayan region. And we will start with maybe the most obvious one, altitude and health risks. Even though we're talking about non-Everest treks, the elevations can reach above 3,000 meters, and thus they pose risks of altitude sickness and dehydration. So you have to be super, super fit and used to trekking, especially at such high elevations. Second argument against is the unpredictable weather. Sudden snowstorms, landslides, heavy rains can make trails dangerous or impassable, especially during monsoon seasons or in the winter. And as it happened recently, you can get stuck and it's very costly. The rescue missions are very, very costly. Argument number three against trekking the Himalayan regions is that there is limited infrastructure. In remote areas, trails, accommodations, and medical facilities can be like basic, or hard to access in emergency. You will most likely need helicopter lift, extraction. The army needs to come to save you, and it's quite complicated and a big risk because of the limited infrastructure. You can't just walk back to your camp. You can't just catch a quick ride to the nearest clinic or hospital. Argument four against: there is an obvious environmental impact. Increasing tourism contributes to waste, deforestation, and trail erosion. And if not managed responsibly, the area can just become a pile of trash. Let's not forget what's happening on the Everest base camps, where there's a huge problem with trash. And last argument against trekking the Himalayan trails in Nepal is over tourism and cultural sensitivity or cultural insensitivity. In some villages, unregulated trekking may disrupt local customs or even create a dependency on tourism. And instead of having their own little economy, they just rely on one season when tourists come and trek, and you can make enough money to last for the year. But then what happens if you have a lockdown, if you have a pandemic, if you have very bad weather? So here are the 5 reasons pro and against trekking Nepal's Himalayan region. What do you think? Would you like to go trekking in the Himalayas? Would you go trekking if you know you're not a seasoned trekker and you're not prepared? Let me know in the comment section below. All the best. This is Voiko Michnia from Beijing.